When it comes to sports in Lorain, your station to watch is TV 20, Lorain City Schools Television.
And welcome to Junior High Volleyball on WLCS TV 20 alongside Bob Schlembaker doing the camera work. My name is Rob Polinsky. Glad to be back for the 2019-2020 fall sports season at WLCS and with Lorain Athletics. 7th grade game. We are at Longfellow Middle School. It's the Southview Middle School taking on Longfellow. Today, both teams wearing blue with Lorain on the back. All the middle school uniforms are the same, so kind of bear with us. But as you're looking at your TV monitor, the team on the left of the net, the team on the left, your other left, Bob, the team on the left is Southview, and that 7th grade team is coached by Lindsay Wright. She's in her 3rd year. They are 1-1. The team on your right of the net, as you look at TV 20 for this first game, that's the Longfellow 7th graders. They're coached by Christine Brewster. In her 1st year, they come in with a record of 2-0. And serving is going to be Victoria Venable. As we get set, play 2 out of 3 games, go to 25. Venable's first serve, short of the net. So Southview on the service there takes a 1-0 lead. And now going back to serve is Maya Rivera. Maya Rivera with a good serve, and that one is passed out of bounds right in front of us. It's 2-0 Southview with the early lead. So Maya Rivera with a nice serve that Olivia Henderson from the back row tried to play ahead, but instead went into the crowd here at the Longfellow Middle School. 2-0. Maya Rivera, that serve is going to be wide and out of bounds. Gives Longfellow their first point, and Southview now leads early in game 1. We're just underway, 2-1. Jalea Wright is serving for Coach Christine Brewster's team. And Jalea serve goes over the net and is going to be played ahead to the Southview side from the middle of the front row. Right side for Southview, hitting it back that time is Justice McKinney, and it's a point for Southview. We are tied at 2. Again, Southview on your left, Longfellow on the right. And serving is Janae Jackson. So Janae Jackson serving. And that serve goes wide. It was over the net, but it is wide. So that gives the point to Longfellow. They lead 3-2. Serving for the Longfellow 7th graders now is Liera Concepcion. Concepcion with a nice deep serve and unable to play that ahead. It was Maya Rivera and Janae Jackson unable to pass it forward. It's 4-2 Longfellow. And that serve goes out of bounds. It gives Longfellow the point. And the home team leads 4-3. Again, Concepcion with a serve. Rivera runs it down, but off the ceiling and out of bounds. It's 5-3, Longfellow with the lead. So Concepcion with 3 consecutive serves as her team gains the lead here early on in game 1. Concepcion high serve, and that one goes off the ceiling support, so the point goes to Southview. It's 5-4, Longfellow with the lead. And going back to serve for Southview is going to be Madison Kellum. Again, this is 7th grade girls volleyball. Kellum with the serve. It's played ahead, back to the Southview side. And from the right side, or the left side of the front row, unable to hit it over the net that time, was Dieva Johnson. Point goes to Longfellow. They lead 6-4. Putting it over that time, Victoria Venable. Venable again from the middle of the front row, and she hits it in between the rows for Southview. So Longfellow gets the point. They lead 7-4. So nice job by Victoria Venable. gets the point for her team, and now going back to serve is Keely Kreitzer. Keely is one of the co-captains of this team. Longfellow with the serve and the lead. Played from the back row by Kellum, unable to get it over the net after Cheyenne Brown played the first hit, and it's 8-4, and we're going to get our first timeout of game number 1 for Coach Lindsay Wright and the 7th graders from Southview as they trail 8-4. They're 1-1 on the young season. Longfellow has a record of 2-0, coached by Christine Brewster. As you take a look at the huddle for Lindsay Wright and the 7th graders from Southview, as it's in game 1, they trail 8-4. Want to remind you that you are watching WLCS Lorain Schools Television, WLCS TV 20 on Spectrum Cable. Check out Lorain Schools TV 20 on Facebook for all your entertainment and informational needs. We encourage you to follow us on Twitter. That Twitter handle is @LCS_TV20. Of course, the very popular YouTube station. You can YouTube Lorain Schools at TV 20. Longfellow to serve, up 8-4. Again, it's Keely Kreitzer with the serve, and that time it is hit out of bounds. Justice McKinney wasn't able to pass it ahead to a teammate or get it over the net. Southview gets the point following the timeout, and they have the serve, trailing 8-5, and Cheyenne Brown goes back to serve. Brown with an overhand serve, and it won't get to the net. Point for Longfellow. Longfellow leads 9-5 here early on in game 1. Serve is hit over the net, and it's going to be a point for Longfellow. And it is Olivia Henderson with the serve, and Longfellow has doubled up Southview 10-5 here early on in game 1. Played 2 games out of 3. We played at 25. 7th grade girls volleyball today on WLCS TV 20. Bob Schlumbaker on the camera work. My name's Ron Polinsky. From the middle of the front row for Longfellow, they send it back to the Southview side. Henderson plays it off the ceiling that time. I think it hit the support of the basket. The basketball baskets are put up, but I think it hit the underneath of that backboard. And it's a point for Southview. They now have cut the lead to 10-6. And going back to serve is Jahida Figueroa. She puts it into the net. So Southview having a hard time getting their serves in. Longfellow leads 11-6. Well, I think half the battle in the middle schools, if you can just get it over the net in your serve, you really give your team an excellent opportunity to get the point. And Justice McKinney does just that, puts it over the net. There's an ace, and it's 12-6. Longfellow has doubled up Southview here in game 1. Substitution, Kiana Lurie will come into the front row for Southview. 7th grade girls volleyball, game 1, 12-6. Serving is Justice McKinney. And she serves and gets the point. Dieva Johnson tried to pass it ahead, unable to do so. And Longfellow leads 13-6. Bob Schlumbaker, you take a little weight off in the summer? Maybe? Have you really? You look like you lost some weight. Joe, just note that I tried to give Bob Schlumbaker a compliment right there. So noted. Southview hits it over the Longfellow side from the back row. They play it ahead. And Cheyenne Brown puts it over to the Longfellow side. Now hitting it over. And getting the point is Victoria Venable, who's had a good first game here. And it's 14-6 Longfellow leads Southview. Victoria Venable, after getting that point, will go back to serve. She puts it into the net, and it's 14-7 after that point goes to Southview. Longfellow still with the lead here in game 1. And it's going to be Dieva Johnson who will serve for Southview. Dieva with a nice serve, and it is played to the right of the net, and hitting it out of bounds is Julia Wright. Makes it 14-8. Southview with back-to-back points has cut the lead from 8-6. Right side of the front row, nicely done. Hit over to the Longfellow side and hit wide out of bounds. That was Maya Rivera who put it over to the Longfellow side, and for Longfellow, Liera Concepcion hit it out of bounds. So Southview with their best rally of the match. They have got 3 points in a row and have cut an 8-point lead down to 5 to 14-9. Digging that out, but unable to hit it over the head is Julia Wright. It's 14-10. 4 consecutive points now for Southview. It was 14-6 Longfellow, and Southview with 4 consecutive points has cut that lead in half from 8 to 4. Here in game 1, you play 2 games out of 3. You play to 25, and unable to hit it over the net that time. The pass to the head was Keely Kreitzer. It's 14-11. So Coach Lindsay Wright's team, 5 consecutive points. Again over the net, another point, 14-12. Just into the net. That ends the consecutive point string of 6. But Longfellow leading 15-12, and with that run, Southview put themselves right back in game 1. Now Longfellow leading by 3 will serve. It'll be Julia Wright to serve. And that one is good, as unable to pass it ahead was Dieva Johnson. 16-12. Longfellow leads in game 1. Official calls for timeout here. And he's going to come over to the scores table. I obviously have something to go over with Longfellow leading 16-12 in game 1. Bob, if this is a 20-minute conversation, would you like to take a break, or what do you think here, sir? Always ask Bob for these executive decisions that need to be made when we have things at WLCS TV. We'll take this time out. We'll be back and let you know whatever this discussion was about. We're in game 1, 7th grade girls volleyball. It is Longfellow 16, Southview 12. Back after this timeout.
Inspiring city and campus. Inspiring people. Inspiring creativity. Inspiring hands-on learning. Inspiring global experiences. Inspiring traditions. Be a Buckeye. Inspire.
And we're back. Evidently, Longfellow made a mistake in the rotation, so that gives the point to Southview. So instead of 16-12, it's now 15-13. It also gives the serve back to Southview, and serving will be Mayra Rivera. Mayra puts it over. It's now 15-14, and Longfellow only leads by 1 as Southview has gotten right back into this one. 7th grade girls volleyball at Longfellow Middle School. Southview serving. They're on the left of the net, and receiving is Longfellow. They're on the right, and we are tied at 15 as Southview has come all the way back after trailing 14-6. They have scored 9 of the last 10 points. Our last tie was at 2. And now we are tied at 15. And Mayra Rivera serving. Southview again serving. Longfellow receiving here in game 1. Sends it deep to the back row. And unable to play it ahead. It's going to be 16-15. Southview with their first lead since 2-1. In the back row, Lamarier rolled in, passed it ahead, but her teammates couldn't put it over the net. And now Rivera with another good serve that's sent back and well played as Julia Wright ties it up. A nice job off of that serve. Wright put it over, and Southview wasn't able to come up with it, so we are tied at 16. And that will put Julia Wright back to serve for Longfellow, tied at 16 here in game one. Nice serve by Julia. As played, Rivera with the set. She'll send it over. Again, Rivera sends it over, and that time a point for Southview. Southview leads 17-16. Serving for Southview is Kiana Leary. Kiana Leary with a good high serve that's played by Julia Wright. Back to the Southview side for Longfellow, hitting it over, and getting the point for Longfellow to tie it up was Liera Concepcion. So we are tied at 17. This is a very close game in game number one. 2 out of 3. You can play to 25. Longfellow with the early lead. Southview has come all the way back, and now there's a discussion at the scores table. I thought it was 17-17. They're showing 8. Yes, it is 17-17. For once, I'm right. Southview from the middle of the front row. They play it, and hitting it over, but out of bounds is Brown. That will give Longfellow an 18-17 lead. So Cheyenne Brown got it over the net, but it was wide and out of bounds. Longfellow with the serve and the lead, 18-17, and Liera Concepcion to serve. From the back row, Southview's able to put it over, and for Longfellow, they hit it out of bounds. That is Lamarier Roldan. Point for Southview, tied at 18. And for Southview going back to serve, Madison Kellum. Kellum with a good serve. Played ahead by Longfellow, back to the Southview side and hit out of bounds. Longfellow with the point as Lamarier Roldan hit it to the Southview side and got the point, 19-18 Longfellow. 7th grade girls volleyball on WLCS TV 20. Bob Schlumbaker doing the camera work. My name's Rob Polinsky. Glad you could join us for girls volleyball, junior high in Lorain. Keely Kreitzer to serve. Kreitzer sends it, and then hitting it over the net and getting the point for her team. Nicely done is Figueroa. Shahida Figueroa ties it at 19. Well, that was really well done. And now going back to serve is Cheyenne Brown. Substitution coming in for Longfellow, Savannah Bryant. She'll come into the middle of the front row. And unable to serve it over the net is Brown. That gives the point to Longfellow. They lead 20-19. Left side of the front row, Brown hitting it, no, off the top of the net, back on the Southview side, point to Longfellow. They lead 21-19. Substitution for Southview. And coming in for the Southview 7th graders is Malijah Brennis. Malijah Brennis to the back row. And so now Lamarier Roldan to serve. Her team up by 2. Mayera Rivera hits it over, back to the Southview side. Longfellow plays it from the middle of the front row, Victoria Venable, and that'll be a point for Longfellow. They lead 22-19. So 3 straight points for Longfellow after we were tied at 19, and they are just 3 points away from winning game number 1. they're giving the point to Southview as for Longfellow. Roldan tried to stop her serve, but they're saying she hit it, so that's a point for Southview, and it's 22-20. Southview now will serve. There's a nice serve. Well done by Figueroa. Point for Southview. They're within one at 22-21. And we've got a timeout for Longfellow. They want to take a timeout. Southview took one earlier in game one when they trailed 8-4. When we look back to recap this, Southview actually led 2-0, then Longfellow tied it at 2. Longfellow scored 4 consecutive points to go up 4-2. After 2-2, Longfellow then started to pull away a little bit. They led 8-4. Southview took a timeout. They continued to lead. They got it all the way to 14-6, and it looked like they would cruise in game one, but Southview stormed back, cut the lead to 14-12. Both teams exchanged points, and then Southview with 2 consecutive made it 15-15. They then took a 16-15 lead. We were tied at 16, tied at 17, tied at 18, and at 19 before Longfellow scored 3 consecutive points to go up 22-19. Southview has cut the lead to 22-21, and we're back to live action. From the middle of the front row, hitting it well done. Nice job by Victoria Venable. Point for Longfellow. They lead 23-21. Boy, Venable with a nice shot with her back to the net. Put it deep into the Southview corner, and Longfellow leads by 2. So they are 2 points away from game number 1, and it's Savannah Bryant to serve. Bryant's serve is dug out. Sent back over. Venable put it back to the Southview side. Venable, right side of the front row, puts it back over. Rivera for Southview, back to Longfellow, one of our longest rallies of the game. And the point goes to Longfellow, and it's game point. They lead 24-21. And once again, they have called the official over to the scores table. And hopefully this will be a short discussion, as we are at game point at 24-21 of the 7th grade girls volleyball game on WLCS TV 20, home of Lorain City Schools Television. Had a substitution infraction earlier that gave a point to Southview. That was on Longfellow. And for the second time in his first game, the scores table wants to have a conversation with the official to go over everything. Right now, the scoreboard says Longfellow 24, Southview 21. The home team leads the play to 25. So now we are just about set to get back underway. And serving is Savannah Bryant. Bryant with the serve that will go into the net. Point to Southview. It's 24-22. Southview regains the serve here. Down 2 points at game point. And serving is Dieva Johnson. Johnson's serve, and Julia Wright hits it, and Liera Concepcion tried to save it, could not do so. 24-23. You must win by 2 points, so if Southview can get this point, then we know we're going to at least 26. Dug out middle of the front row by Julia Wright. Longfellow looking for game 1 here. Maya Rivera sends it right back to the Longfellow side, sent to the back row. And it falls, and Longfellow gets game 1, hard-fought win. They win at 25-23, so Longfellow takes a 1-0 lead as they win game one, 25-23. We'll switch sides. We'll get you set for game two after this timeout. We'll be back with game number 2, 7th grade girls volleyball from Longfellow Middle School. You're watching middle school volleyball on WLCS TV 20, home of Lorain City Schools Television.
In an instant, life can change. Hi, I'm veteran J.R. Martinez. If you've been hurt or disabled due to your service, the last thing you need to do is hurry up and wait for a VA claims decision. Make sure you file an electronic, fully developed claim or e-claim for disability compensation on e-benefits. It's the fastest and easiest way to get a claims decision. Learn more at ebenefits.va.gov. E-claims and e-benefits, online VA claims made simple.
Well, they switch sides, so Southview's on the right side, and it'll be Longfellow on the left. Longfellow won game number 1, 25-23, and a really good game here of 7th grade girls volleyball. Rivera starts game 2, serving for Southview, and for Southview hitting it over the net is Janae Jackson, and it is played by Longfellow. They get the point. Longfellow leads 1-0. Again, Lindsay Wright, 7th grade girls coach for Southview. They're 1-1. Christine Brewster, the head coach of Longfellow, her record is 2-0. Coach Brewster, first year. Coach Wright, third year. Serving for Longfellow is Victoria Venable. Venable with the ace, 2-0 Longfellow. Longfellow with the 2-0 lead. Venable to serve. And she puts it into the net, gives Southview their first point of game 2. It's 2-1 Longfellow early in game 2. And serving is Janae Jackson for the 7th graders from Southview. Jackson's serve is going to be sent back to the back row. She sends it right back over. Played ahead but out of bounds by Olivia Henderson, and we're tied at 2. Jackson sends it, and then that one is going to be, couldn't tell if it was, no, it's going to Longfellow. So that one fell inbounds for Longfellow, cuts the lead to 3-2. And hitting that one that time was Olivia Henderson, doing a good job. And serving is Jalea Wright for the 7th graders from Longfellow. And Wright's serve is an ace, 4-2. Off the hands of Jahida Figueroa. That serve is not going to get over the net. Cuts the lead to 4-3. Southview with the point. They've cut the lead to 1. Serving is Madison Kellum. Good high serve that's put into the net by Henderson, and we are tied at 4. Madison Kellum waiting, and now she's set. Underhand serve is going to make it over the net. Sent back to the Southview side. Jackson puts it back to Longfellow, and that'll be a point for Southview. It's hitting it out of bounds was Keely Kreitzer from Longfellow. And Southview has their first lead of game 2. They lead 5-4. They trail 1-0, having lost a close one, 25-23 in the first game. Justice McKinney comes to the middle of the front row for Longfellow, and that serve from Southview's Madison Kellum not going to get over the net, so we're tied at 5, and it'll be Longfellow regaining the serve, and it's Keely Kreitzer who will go back to do that. if you're seeing a lot of blue on your TV, that's not your TV. Don't be confused. In the middle school, we're told for volleyball that everybody has the same uniform. So nothing wrong with your TVs. Longfellow leads 6-5. And the point will go to Southview as Longfellow let it bounce, and they went inbounds, and we're tied at 6. Can't see from our angle where we're at, but they were tied at 6. It'll be Cheyenne Brown to serve. Substitution coming in for Madison Kellum is going to be Malijah Brennis. We saw Malijah in the first game. Serving into the net is Brown. So Longfellow leads 7-6. And going back to serve will be Lamarie Roldan. Overhand serve for Lamarie. Gets it over the net. It is just wide. That point will go to Southview. We're tied at 7. Substitution, Roldan will come out. Replacing her for Longfellow is going to be Olivia Henderson. Figueroa to serve for the Southview 7th graders. And the line drive serve is an ace. Well done. Southview leads 8-7. Timeout for Longfellow. First timeout of game 2. Gives us a minute to, we're going to take a timeout. All right. Our director extraordinaire, Bob Schlumbaker, says timeout, so we will. Game 2, it is Southview 8, Longfellow 7. We'll be back with more of Game 2. You're watching girls 7th grade middle school volleyball on WLCS TV 20, home of Lorain City Schools Television.
I began in 3rd grade, 8 years old, and I was able to learn the chest compressions and the breaths, and I absolutely believe that anyone out in the public can easily learn. We got a page for an unresponsive 2-month-old, and when I got the first glimpse of the 2-month-old, he was blue. We didn't even get to go inside. I just jumped in the back and we started CPR, continuing CPR, and you were able to see the color start to come back, and then we were able to actually get his heart rate back. It was a pretty moving part in the story that we were able to save a 2-month-old's life. My community is why.
Back underway, it's going to be an ace on the serve following the timeout. Figueroa with that ace. Southview with their biggest lead of game 2. It's 2 points at 9-7. And that one is just wide. It'll be Longfellow point. I'm sorry, it was ruled in. It's Longfellow's point, makes it 9-8, as that was ruled on the line. Longfellow to serve, trailing 9-8. Serving is Concepcion. Concepcion with a good deep serve, and that one won't get over the net from Southview. We're tied at 9. Concepcion again with another good serve. Rivera puts it back over. Sent back. And a nice rally here. It goes off the top of the net, falls on the Southview side. Point to Longfellow is Kiana Lurie had the right idea, but her hit just went off the top of the net, and Longfellow leads 10-9. Rivera from the back row gets it ahead. And Longfellow tries to send it back. That one's going to go out of bounds. Point to Southview. We're tied at 10. Two very evenly matched middle schools. Game 1 went to Longfellow 25-23. Game 2 we're tied at 10. So not much separation between these two, at least to this point. D'Ava Johnson is going to serve for Southview, but first a Longfellow substitution. Coming into the game is Jasmine Cash, coming into the match for the first time. And Longfellow can't put it over, as it was Justice McKinney, couldn't quite get to it. 11-10, Southview leads by 1. Johnson with another nice line drive serve, sent over by Victoria Venable. Out of bounds, point to Southview, it's 12-10. Southview leads by 2. And that one's going to be misplayed, a little miscommunication from the back of Southview. It looked like two young ladies. Lurie was one of them along with Figueroa. They couldn't get on the same page, so Longfellow with a point. They trail 12-11. Serve goes into the net. Southview leads game 2, 13-11. Southview trying to tie if they can get game 2, and Longfellow looking for the 2-game sweep. Serving Maya Rivera. And her serve to the back row, unable to dig it out is Henderson. Point for Southview, they lead 14-11. Again, Maya Rivera with a nice serve, and that one's going to be sent back over. Played by Longfellow off the top of the net. We're going to get a double hit. Point for Southview, a double hit, 15-11. Same girl can't hit the ball twice in a row. That's what happened to Longfellow. I believe it was Julia Wright. And to the back row, it is sent over. Nicely done. Longfellow plays it back to Southview. For Southview, hitting it was Brennis, but the point will go to Longfellow. They cut it to 15-12. So Longfellow facing their biggest deficit of the match here. They were just down 4 points. They've cut it to 3. And trying to serve her team back into game 2 is Victoria Venable. In the middle of the front row, sent right back over to the Southview side. Rivera sends it wide. It'll be a point for Longfellow. 15-13, Southview's lead is 2. This game, Longfellow was on the left, Southview's on the right. And serving it into the net, make it 16-13 Southview. Southview coached by Lindsay Wright, and Longfellow is coached by Coach Christine Brewster. And Lurie will serve. Kiana Lurie to serve, her team up 16-13. Lurie with an ace on that serve. No, they're saying no serve. So they'll have a reserve here with Southview leading by 3. From the back row, Venable. Venable hits it into the net. 17-13. Southview's lead is 4. From the back row, hitting it out of bounds is Bryant. And Southview is their biggest lead, 18-13. Longfellow wants to sub. Bryant will come out, and going to replace her in the middle of the back row is going to be Justice McKinney. Venable, nice return to the back row, and it's going to be a point for Longfellow. For Southview, Brennis hit it, but she hit it backwards, and none of her teammates could help her out. So it's 18-14. The Southview lead is down to 4, and serving is Jalea Wright. Jalea with a good serve. Middle of the front row, sent back over. For Southview, Rivera plays it from the back row to Venable. Right back to Rivera. Rivera will send it over, and that's going to be a point for Southview. Is hitting that out of bounds was Keely Kreitzer. 19-14, the Southview lead is 5. Madison Kellum the serve. And Kellum with an ace. 20-14. Southview starting to pull away a little bit here in game 2 as they try to even it in a game apiece. On the left side of the front row, unable to put it over was Jasmine Cash. 21-14 Southview. They are 4 points away from evening this match at a game apiece and sending us to a third and deciding game here. Substitution for Longfellow. Liera Concepcion comes back in. That one is going to be hit out of bounds, and unable to keep that in was Lurie. Gives the point to Longfellow. Longfellow cuts the lead to 21-15. Substitution coming back in for Longfellow will be Janae Jackson. Serving is Keely Kreitzer for Longfellow. In the middle of the front row, unable to play it over. It was Figueroa with the hit, Longfellow with a point. Longfellow cuts the lead to 5 at 21-16. And again, serving is Keely Kreitzer. She's one of the co-captains of this team, her along with Liera Concepcion. Kreitzer to the right side of the front row. Brown put it over, and that's going to be a point. Is hitting it, unable to get it over was Justice McKinney. It's 22-16, Southview 3 points away from game number 2 and evening this match at a game apiece. And it's Cheyenne Brown to serve. She'll hit it into the net. Longfellow now down 5 with the serve. And for Longfellow serving is Olivia Henderson. Henderson, left side of the front row, Rivera sends it over. Miscommunication on the Longfellow side. Southview gets the point, and they now lead 23-17, and they're 2 points from evening this at a game apiece. And it's Figueroa to serve for Southview. The Southview 7th graders 1-1. Longfellow 2-0. She serves it off the top of the net. Point for Longfellow. It's 23-18. Last couple of points for Longfellow have been missed serves by Southview. And Liera Concepcion, one of the co-captains for Longfellow to serve. Her team trails by 5. Good deep serve, and Madison Kellum unable to play that. 23-19. Concepcion goes back to serve, her team down 4. Concepcion sends it to the right side of the front row, but hitting it out of bounds, and now it's game point for Southview as Longfellow hits it out of bounds. We're at game point at 24-19. Serving for game 2 is Dieva Johnson. Johnson off the net, missed serve. Longfellow still in it. They trail 24-20. Well, they need to serve 4 consecutive points to keep game 2 going. If they are unable to do so, then Southview will get this game as they lead 24-20. And back to serve is Justice McKinney. McKinney's first serve is going to go off the net. Game 2 to Southview, 25-20. So we are even at a game apiece between Longfellow and Southview. We'll be back with the third and deciding game, 7th grade girls volleyball. Back after this timeout. You're watching girls 7th grade volleyball on WLCS TV 20, home of Lorain City Schools Television.
Stop texting and driving. If not for you, for me.
Game 3, Victoria Venable to serve for Longfellow as we are tied at a game apiece. Longfellow won game 1, 25-23. Southview rallied to tie it at a game apiece by winning game 2, 25-20. First point of game 3 goes to Southview. They lead 1-0, and you play 2 games out of 3. They go to 25, so here in game number 3, Maya Rivera to serve for Southview. And that will be a point again for Southview. They take the 2-0 lead early in game 3. They have some momentum, having won the second game 25-20. They are trying to come back from a game down to win the next 2 to win the match. 7th grade girls volleyball from the Longfellow Middle School. Alongside Bob Schlumbaker, I'm Rob Polinsky. Southview plays it back to the Longfellow side, and for Longfellow hitting it over was Olivia Henderson. Now Henderson again plays it. That one will go out of bounds, and it's a 3-0 lead for Southview. As early on, they have scored the first 3 points of this third and deciding game. Maya Rivera has been their most consistent server. And at this level, if you can get your serves in bounds, that's basically half the battle. And that serve goes to the back row, and unable to play it over is Henderson. 4-0 Southview. Henderson plays it from the back row, and it goes off the ceiling support. Point to Southview, 5-0. So Rivera has come out and served the first 5 points for her team in game 3. So Maya Rivera still serving, still up 5-0. Good deep serve, played from the back row, and sent over. No, unable to hit it over that time was Keely Kreitzer, and it's 6-0. Rivera, that time missed serves after 6 consecutive points, and her team leads 6-1 as Longfellow will get their first serve of game 3. It'll be Jalea Wright trying to get her team back into it. Jalea with a nice serve. That's played over but out of bounds, and hitting that out of bounds is Dieva Johnson. So it's 6-2. Southview's lead is 4. And And we're going to get a miss hit that time for Southview. Give the point to Longfellow. It's 6-3. And they return an illegal hit. Julia Wright with another nice serve. Brown hits it back to the Longfellow side. Kellum right back over to Southview. From the back row, they let it go, and I can't tell from here, in or out, that is going to be ruled out, so it will be Southview's point. And it's 7-3. Southview up 7-3 with the serve. Dieva Johnson serves and gets the point. On the ace, it's 8-3. Dieva with another nice serve from the back row. Venable sends it. Played ahead and over, and it's a point off the nice job by Lyra Concepcion. Southview cuts the lead to 8-4. Concepcion will go back to serve. Her team trails 8-4. Line drive serve, unable to play it forward is Figueroa. It's 8-5. Southview's lead is cut to 3. We're at the Longfellow Middle School. So the home team trails 8-5. 7th grade girls volleyball. Bob Schlembaker on the camera work. My name is Rob Polinsky. Glad you could join us on WLCS TV 20, home of Lorain City Schools television. Concepcion from the back row, and that is going to be a point. They're going to award that one to Southview. Not sure what that call was, but it is Southview's point, although they, now they're giving it to Southview. It's 9-5. And that it was hit in front of Julia Wright, makes it 10-5. Southview has doubled up Longfellow here in game 3. Madison Kellum serving. Left side of the front row to the back row. Wright hits it ahead. Brown for Southview, right back to the Longfellow side. Running it over and setting that over, and it's going to be a point. Nice job for Longfellow's Keely Kreitzer. 10-6 Southview. Kiana Lurie on the left side of the front row for Southview. And Kreitzer back to serve. Her team trails by 4. Kreitzer gets it over. Brown will send it back to the Longfellow side and gets a point. 11-6 Southview. Brown serves it into the net. It's 11-7. Southview with the lead. Longfellow serving, trailing 11-7 in the third and deciding game here of 7th grade girls volleyball from the Longfellow Middle School. Olivia Henderson will serve. Henderson serve. Play right back. Henderson will hit it again. This time that one, is it on the line or is it out? They're going to say that is out. Point will go to Southview. They lead 12-7. Substitution. This time substituting will be Longfellow. Coming back into the match is Savannah Bryant. Bryant will go to the back row. And serving is going to be Figueroa. Jahida Figueroa. Overhand serve, nicely done. And that's going to be a point for Southview. They lead 13-7. Southview scored the first 6 points of game 3 off the serve of Maya Rivera to lead 6-0. They've never fallen behind since then. Longfellow was cut into the lead, but Southview, after that first 6 points, has dominated. That one goes out of bounds. Southview leads 14-7. Left side of the front row for Southview. Hitting it over and getting the point for her team is going to be Jalea Wright. And it's 14-8. The lead has been cut to 6. And going back to serve is Lamaria Roldan. Lamaria Roldan to serve. Substitution coming in is Malijah Brennis for Southview. Southview's on the right, receiving. Longfellow on the left of the net, serving this game. And serving is Lamaria Roldan, and that one goes over. Bryant thought it was going out of bounds. It's landed inbounds. Point goes to Southview. They lead 15-8. Serve goes off the net, or off the curtain, I should say, above the net. Point to Longfellow is 15-9. Southview's lead is 6. So again, you go to 25, you must win the best 2 of 3. We're in game 3, tied at a game apiece. And Venable serving, her team trails by 6. Venable serve is going to be, is that in or out? They are saying it is out, and that point will go to Southview, 16-9. Very, very close. Whether that one would be ruled in or out. Substitution. And Nevaeh Contreras will come in. She wears number 17. She's in the back row for Southview. Maya Rivera serves it into the net. She served the first 6 points of this third and deciding game to give her team a big lead, but that time she serves it into the net. And the lead is 16-10, and now Jalea Wright serving for Longfellow. Right serve is going to be hit out of bounds. At time by Brennis, and Longfellow has cut the lead to 5, 16-11. Right with another good serve. Janae Jackson plays it. Rivera comes up to send it over the net. Back to Jackson. Nicely done by Jackson. Gets the point for Southview. They lead 17-11. Janae Jackson with a couple of good hits from the right side of the front row, and now she'll go back to serve. The Southview leads by 6. Substitution for Longfellow back in is Olivia Henderson, in for Savannah Bryant. Left side of the front row, Henderson back to the middle, sent over to the Southview side. Brown for Southview, right back to Longfellow. Right side of the front row is sent, and it's going to be a point for Longfellow. They cut it to 17-12, and with that point was Liera Concepcion. Concepcion with the ace, miscommunication on the Southview side, and the lead is cut to 17-13. This is as close as Longfellow's been since 4-0. Third and deciding game. Longfellow trying to come back after Southview got the early lead in game 3. Rivera from the back row. Jackson runs it down, but can't get it over the net. 17-14. Longfellow has cut it to 3. Remember, the first 6 points of this third game went to Southview off the serves of Maya Rivera to give them a 6-0 lead. They led at one point 15-8. But now it's 17-14. Jackson off the backboard. That one is hit short of the net. 17-15. Longfellow again with the point. Serving is Concepcion. Sends it over from the back row into the net. Point for Longfellow. They cut the lead to 17-16. Concepcion back to serve, the co-captain. She gets this point, we're tied. Concepcion with a good serve. Brown digs it out. Back to the Longfellow side, and we get a miss hit. Point goes to Southview. They lead 18-16. And serving for the Southview 7th graders is going to be Dieva Johnson. Coming back in is going to be Kiana Lurie. And serving is Madison Kellum. And from the back row, unable to put it over, was Julia Wright. 19-16, Southview with the point. The lead is back to 3. Late stages of game 3. Madison Kellum to serve. Right from the back row, passes ahead, gets sent over. Now back to the Southview side. Kellum gets it ahead, but Rivera can't get it over. 19-17. Longfellow with a serve, down 2. And it's Keely Kreitzer to serve. Kreitzer with the serve, and that one's going to be a point for Longfellow. Unable to put it over the net was Lurie. 19-18, Longfellow within a point. Brown for Southview. That one gets hit into the crowd. We're tied at 19. So Longfellow has come all the way back after trailing 6-0. And then by as many as 15-8, come all the way back, scored 11 of the last 15 points to tie it at 19. We have a timeout for Southview here late in game 3. Gives us an opportunity to remind you, as you take a look at Coach Lindsay Wright talk with her 7th graders from Southview, that you are watching Lorain City Schools Television, WLCS TV 20, Spectrum Cable. Check out the YouTube Lorain Schools station at TV 20. You can follow us on Twitter. That's at LCS_TV 20. If you check out Lorain Schools TV 20 on Facebook, you can see all your entertainment and informational needs, and like Lorain Schools TV 20 on Facebook to win some great prizes. Rob Polinsky here with you. Bob Schlumbaker doing the camera work for us today, as we have middle school volleyball from Longfellow. The 7th grade matchup, it's been a good one. A tight match between Longfellow, the host team, and Southview, the visitors. Game 1 went to Longfellow 25-23. Game 2 to Southview 25-20. And we're tied at 19 here in the 3rd and deciding game. Kreitzer with the serve. Middle of the front row, it's sent back over to the Longfellow side in front of Julia Wright. That'll be a point for Southview. They lead it 20-19. And serving is going to be Cheyenne Brown. Brown with a nice deep serve. Wright can't get it over the net. And it's a double hit. It'll be a point for Southview. They lead 21-19. Brown, another good serve. Played over. Rivera sends it back to the Longfellow side, and into the net with that one was Concepcion. So off the timeout, 3 straight points for Southview. They lead 22-19. That one goes hit out of bounds. Serve will go to Longfellow, trailing 22-20. And going back to serve for the Longfellow 7th graders is Olivia Henderson. Henderson with a nice serve, middle of the front row, sent over, but hitting that was Kiana Lurie. She hit it off the support here, just hanging below the ceiling, and that gives the point to Longfellow. It's 22-21, a 1-point lead for Southview. all the games have been close, so why not the third game? Again, you must win by 2. You play to 25. Henderson with the serve. It is good. We are tied at 22. Longfellow serving, trying to battle all the way back. Serve just gets over the net, sent back over to the Longfellow side. Right side of the front row, unable to get it over the net that time as Lemarier Roldan. Point to Southview, they lead 23-22. And serving 2 points away from the match for Southview is going to be Jahida Figueroa. Substitution, Janae Jackson comes back in to the front row for Southview. Good line drive serve, and we're at match point. Excellent serve by Figueroa. Southview at match point, up 24-22. So Figueroa with the serve, keeps it in play from the middle of the front row. Venable hits it wide out of bounds, and the match goes to Southview. They win it 25-22. So game 1 was Longfellow 25-23, but Southview battled back to win it 2-1, winning game 2 25-20, and winning our third and deciding game by a score of 25-22. That's going to do it for 7th grade middle school volleyball today from the Longfellow Middle School. Want to thank Bob Schlumbaker, our cameraman. Want to thank you for watching. Again, Coach Lindsay Wright of Southview and Coach Brewster for Longfellow for their help. With the win, Southview 7th graders go to 2-1. And with the loss, Longfellow has their first loss of the year. They drop to 2-1. So for Bob Schlumbaker, this is Rob Polinsky reminding you, you've been watching 7th grade girls volleyball on WLCS TV 20, home of Lorain City Schools Television.
This has been a production of Lorain City Schools TV 20 WLCS.